In the darkest nights, we find our light. Battered souls, but we won't lose sight. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, we stand tall. United forever. Strength and courage will overcome. Oh, surviving together, victorious, never, never alone. Hand in hand, we'll face the unknown.
We see you, we hear you, and we believe you. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Or welcome me back, right? You've landed at Surviving Together, a safe space for trauma survivors to come together, build community on their healing journeys, as well as providing trauma-related education for all. And I have to apologize, well, for multiple things. One, I'm so sorry I had to cancel last Saturday. We had been having the heavy smoke from Canada. So, Crystal, I hope you made it through that okay. It was really bad here, and I was so sick from the smoke and I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't, go on. Did I get my hair cut? No, it's just all up. I've just got it. It looks like it's cut. I am threatening to get it cut, though. I have been threatening that for quite a number of years, actually. And I was just talking to somebody yesterday about that I was gonna go ahead and do it. So we'll see. I still have to make a hair appointment. But Crystal, Deaudrey, welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. I so I really apologize that I was not on last week, but thank you guys for showing up this week. I really appreciate it. You guys don't know how much I missed being with you. It it didn't feel right, it was so weird. I almost came on just to say, "Hi, how are you?" And I couldn't talk, and it was just awful, but I'm like, I couldn't even get full sentences out. So but my second apology is I had said, well, whoops, wasn't going to be on. So guess what? We'll just move the Alexander Boys, uh, video till today. And then I realized it was Sassy Saturday. And I'm like, can't do this case today on Sassy Saturday. That just like didn't seem right. So, all right, August 8th, we're going to do the Alexander's case because the first is going to be Laugh Saturday. So the first day of the month and first Saturday of the month, which means we always have Laugh Saturday. So that will be next Saturday. So today for Sassy Saturday, some old videos just kind of were popping up in my feed, and sometimes I'll get interested in one particular thing, and how YouTube will just be like, hey, watch this one. Hey, watch this one. And I got stuck into listening to Susan Boyle again. So, and then I really started diving into her because I started thinking about Sassy Saturday, and I started thinking about, things that we've been speaking about here lately about, you know, how do we believe in ourselves, and how do we not listen to other people? And if there is anyone who is like the epitome of the phrase, don't judge a book by your cover, it's never too late to reach for your dreams, you can do it, keep going. What else did I write down? You can overcome. She is it. Seriously. If you guys don't know who Susan Boyle is, maybe the name doesn't mean anything to you. If I get a block, guys, I'm trying to use just very short snippets of things. so that I don't get a block. But it's hard to find what I needed on channels that wouldn't potentially block me. So if you don't know who Susan Boyle is, let's watch this. And I'm going to play just a teeny bit from when she's speaking to the judges ahead of time. And then I'll go to when she sings. Yes, she's a singer. And just watch the judges, listen to the audience, look at her. What do you think? Let me share my screen. You guys know I'm not that great at this. So you're gonna have to bear with me. All right. Off to the side. I'm okay there. All right. So let's play a little few seconds of this.
Hi, what's your name, darling?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, and where are you from?
I am from Blackburn near Bathgate, West Lothian.
It's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of villages. Had to think there.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
And you can tell the judges don't really know what to make of her. You know, and I have to say, if I had seen this and I didn't know what was coming, I mean, the reason I saw this video, her audition on Britain's Got Talent, this is from 2009, I do believe. And the reason I saw this in the first place was because I heard something spectacular happened. And I didn't know exactly what, but I knew the main story behind it, right? So I can tell you what I first thought when I looked at her. I went, oh my God, that's just a little bit bigger of a version of my Aunt Anne. It's my dad's aunt, actually. She was my great aunt, but she had a very similar look, a very similar hairstyle. She was kind of stuck in the 1950s dressing wise. She was definitely one who would still match her shoes and her purse and potentially even have her gloves on and dark hose. That's the one thing that I just went boom. My Aunt Anne struck me in the face, was having a light colored dress and dark hose. And bless my aunt, I absolutely adored her because when we went to go visit her, she actually would take us to the grocery store, my brother and I, and we would get to pick out one box of cereal each for the weekend. And that was like our box. And we pick out anything. So we'd pick out the sugariest cereal there was that mom would never let us get, right? So invariably it was Blueberry for me and the chocolate one, Count Chocula. Yeah. Or Fruity Pebbles. That was another big one for us. Um, so let's see what happens when Susan opens her mouth.
Why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
I've never been given the chance before, but here's hoping it'll change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page.
Elaine
something like
Page.
that.
What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables.
Okay.
Big song.
Yeah? Yes.
Here's us laughing.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
You didn't expect that, did you? Did you? No.
Didn't expect that, did ya? I think that he just summed up what absolutely everybody in the universe was thinking when she opened her mouth. Oh my Lord. She has the most incredible voice. There are a lot of people who I like listening to, but I also like seeing because I like seeing their look and I like seeing how they move. She is one of those people I could just put my headphones on and just listen to her. And I did for an hour one evening, just listening to her songs. She is so incredible. And she became overnight an international sensation. YouTube blew up. I think her audition video has something like 650 million views now, in today's age. But overnight, she had millions upon millions. Within a week, there was 10 million people who had watched this video and shared this video out. And it really became, even later on, the judges will say it. And I've seen some of other people's auditions, and they'll say, you know what we're always looking for is that Susan Boyle moment. That moment when somebody walks out, you don't know what to expect from them, or you expect one thing, and you are totally blown away by them. And that's what she did to nearly everybody. Well, nearly, I have to say, to anybody who listened to her, who watched her and then listened to her. And you just went, here's this woman who seems a little flighty, seems really sassy, really, just kind of odd for some people. And then she opens her mouth, and it's the most beautiful sound in the universe. And you say, okay, well, I can certainly understand why you would bring this on to say, don't judge a book by its cover, right? She she's she's what you would, I mean, I just, epitome is the only word. I mean, she embodies that whole statement. And, even the week afterwards, so Piers Morgan, Amanda Holden, and Simon Cowell were the three judges on there. And Amanda, who's normally like the most kind-hearted of the judges, even she didn't have the best look on her face originally when Susan walked out. And Piers and Simon were just like absolutely dismissive. And when she said, I want to be as big as Elaine Page, who is somebody across the pond who was, really big, Pierce just outright laughed. And both of them, all of them, have said in the years since, and really even in the week afterwards, they were all giving interviews and said, wow, were we wrong? And not only wrong, but just how horrible it was of them to do that, to judge somebody so harshly without even ever hearing her open her mouth. And okay, so we can use her for that message. But when you look into her life, oh my gosh, it gave me such a greater empathy for this woman, understanding of her, and just awe at her accomplishments and where she is now. So I want to just take you back a little bit. So in 2009, she was 47. I think she was born in like 61, 62, somewhere in that range. I didn't look a birth date up. I'm sorry. She came from a very difficult childhood in that there were 6 kids in a fairly small house. But from a very young age, she was the odd one, the one who acted different, the one who didn't fit in. And she was bullied mercilessly in school. I mean, really, really bad. And not only verbal taunts, but physical as well. And not only from the kids, from adults who back then thought it was okay to treat kids this way. And for a long, long time, the story that came out was that she was had oxygen cut off from her at birth, and so that must have caused some brain damage, and that's why she is the way she is. That's why her behavior is a little erratic, why she just is a little strange. And even as an adult, this is kind of how she was known in her community. She's from a very small town called Blackburn in Scotland. And she, because of how she interacted with the world, because of how her thought process was, it's very difficult for her to have a job, to hold a job. And so she pretty much um, grew up and lived on public assistance until the time she went on BGT. And overnight, her life changed. And when you really look into her background and you discover that she had always loved music. She had been singing since she was like 12 years old. BGT was not her first audition ever, as a lot of people seem to think. It was her biggest audition, biggest stage, right? In terms of, having the ability to have exposure. She had just always sung in things in Scotland. This is her first foray out, really. And so she had always sung, but she didn't really go anywhere with it. It wasn't, she always had a dream of being a professional singer. And so she sang places here and there, but she suffered from debilitating anxiety and panic attacks. And so it was very difficult for her to, do more than a song or two, or to not have the song lyrics in her hand. And for her to go on and sing such an amazing song, for one, I Dream a Dream is from Les Miserables, one of my absolute favorite musicals of all time. I've seen it multiple times in person, and I heard her and I was immediately transported back to the theaters that I've seen it in. I mean, her voice was just that good. And you think, how in the world could a voice like this exist and the larger world not know about her? If she's been going out on auditions and she's been doing these things. Well, you come back, and when you realize what kind of emotional issues she was struggling with, this is a huge, huge deal. Hey, Incarnasol, how you doing? And so I could not have been more pleased when I first came across this audition. Knew that something amazing was going to happen, but then when she actually opened her mouth and sung and realized how amazing she was. And to go through a talent show like BGT, this is no small feat, right? The stress is immense. You're at the risk of getting cut all the time. The votes are by, after the initial, audition. And I think they have a little bit of a boot camp thing, but once you make it to the live shows, everything is decided by the audience. And one of the things that I really looked into was how she dealt with that stress and that pressure. just during the BGT time, because I wondered, as a lot of people did, if her subsequent makeover, her subsequent styling choices were hers, or was this something that was forced upon her? And what I came away with after watching interview after interview after interview was this was her. Yeah, she got her hair colored. Yeah, she had it styled different. Yeah, she had some different clothes. But even when she was wealthy, and made her first millions, she didn't spend it on herself. Her dresses that you see that she wears, not only in BGT, but at these other events, she buys them from her favorite department store. She she's not a person who went out and just spent money and thought, well, I need to become something else. She stayed totally grounded. And apparently she has a very supportive family, the family that she has left that's around. And to this day, I do believe, don't quote me, she still lives in the place where she was born, the house where she was born. Now she eventually did buy a larger place, and her friends kidded her and said, "Oh, this is such a posh house. You know, you're going to move into your posh house." So she actually had I don't know if she had it made or somebody made it for her, but it's a welcome mat and it says the posh house on it. But that's where she does like interviews. That's where she has her music studio. That's where she keeps all of her memorabilia that she's both earned and that has just been given to her by fans. And so she has this really fancy house, but it's not home. And she did eventually do a bunch of updates to the house where she lives, and you can see it in the later videos where, uh, from the early videos where they went to her home. It's still a very simple home, very basic, and she modernized it, which good for her. She got some new wallpaper, she got some new furniture, she got some new kitchen cabinets, but she's still the same person. And so for this woman to really be battling with the stress and the pressure from outside, as well as the internal stress and pressure she is dealing with, and to still come out on top. I mean, just kudos to you, Susan. Kudos. And I want to play a little clip, and I think this kind of there's a really good documentary. It's about 45 minutes. It's called There's Something About Susan. It's from 2013. And that's where this clip is from. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. If you ever want to have a really good understanding of her and her life and the struggles that she overcame, um, even though it's 13 years old at this time, totally worth a watch. And I need to link it in the description because I do think it was one of the better documentaries. I saw one that was done soon after she finished BGT, within a couple of years. I think it was like 2011. And I don't know. I mean, I just felt like they were really looking for an angle, like they were looking to have her break down. They were looking to see her destroyed. And it just kind of always came across that way, that they were just, wondering when the other shoe's going to drop. And then they were kind of surprised when things weren't. And when they did, they were jumping on it. And I just didn't like the tone that it took, if that makes sense. So let me just show you just a little bit of this is Susan from about 2012-ish, I think. And she was practicing for an upcoming concert.
Do you want to try it without?
Not too confident. Not too confident at all.
Okay. So let's make this priority for learning. Okay. Got to get these words off for tomorrow.
Okay, but
All
tonight.
right.
I'll be in tonight anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's going to be priority.
I'm very sorry about all this, Sandra.
It's okay. Have you been working on these?
I have been, yeah.
Good. Okay. So
I shouldn't do this, I know, but never mind.
just have a wee look at them and we'll try it without. Okay.
We sever
Now forever.
Deep in heart wrong tears I'll pledge thee.
Warring sighs and hopes. Okay. Okay. No, it's nothing to do with nerves. Just not.
And that was commonplace for her. That type of breakdown, those types of nerves. But she worked through it. And, good for her that she did have supportive people around her, and she did find an amazing manager. And that person, Andrew, is her voice coach. And they really became kind of part of her family and were there to support her and understood that she had these issues and understood that also, when her emotions became too much, and she reveals this as well, she would get extremely angry and lash out at people in rehearsals, or just in her private life. And it took about, I think, 4 years or so after her BGT performance, which she did not win, by the way. I was blown away when I heard this. She did not win. I totally thought she won, and she didn't, but doesn't matter. I mean, she opened her voice. She was going to have a record deal somewhere. Just absolutely amazing. And before I get to what I was going to tell you, just some of her accomplishments in 1 year. Okay. In 1 year, she became the top selling artist. She had the top selling album in both the UK and the United States. Incredible feat by itself. That was her first album. And then within 12 months, she put out a second album, and that went to #1 in both the UK and in the US. I mean, the numbers don't lie. She was only the second artist ever to do that. To within a 12-month span, to have albums, 2 albums, top US and UK. And you know who the other act was? The Beatles. Need I say more? Susan Boyle is on par with the Beatles. And this is before she found out why she was the way she was. And she put out 3 albums within 3 or 4 years. I don't think she had put out her Christmas album yet at that point in time, Crystal, but I can't be for certain because I did not look up exactly the name of each of her albums. I apologize. I did see a number of them, but I'm not certain if it included her Christmas album. But you guys remember what I said earlier about why they explained her behavior the way they did growing up? And it was just kind of the common accepted of she got low oxygen, her oxygen got cut off at birth, and then she had brain damage. And so, maybe she's got a lower IQ, maybe she's possibly got some learning disabilities. Maybe this is why she's acting the way she is. Susan herself admits she was very hyperactive as a kid, and so that was difficult. Hyperactivity wasn't something they had a name for yet. And then come along she started listening to some other people, and she started realizing that maybe there's another explanation for why I am the way I am. And so she really went on this self-discovery journey to figure herself out. And so she saw a psychiatrist for a while. And I mean, I have no idea if she's still seeing someone or not. And what came out of that was, guess what? She's not brain damaged. She got diagnosed with Asperger's, which is on the autism spectrum. And I had watched many a video of Susan before I discovered that, like 3 days ago. And looking back at some of those other interviews that I was listening to, it completely put her and her behavior in a whole new context. And really, that's what her team around her said as well. They're like, we knew she had these attributes. We attributed to one thing because that was always the story, but really understanding what Asperger's was, how it affected her emotional processing, what types of coping skills were better for her than others, how to work with her issues, how to spot when things were becoming overwhelming and try and stave off the anxiety attack or the panic attack. It allowed her the confidence to try a world tour. She had never been outside of the UK for like the 4 years after she was on BGT. Through all that album success, all her music success, she still didn't feel like she was a professional singer because she was just still touring the UK, even though her album sales were like, off the charts and through the roof, which she could have cared less about. And she states that she had no idea unless somebody tells her how many millions of albums were sold on any particular album that she's put out, or how many YouTube hits something got. She has no idea, and she doesn't care. She cares about performing, she cares about making people feel good, and she cares about just living her life. And so this diagnosis opened up the world to her. Literally, it gave her the confidence to try to say to her manager, who it was very candid in interviews, said, I'd wanted for years to take Susan on a world tour, but at the time, she had never done more than like 2 songs at any one point in time, at any one performance. And here she was going to attempt a world tour with 25 songs, and she was going to have to speak to the audience in between those songs. And so, wow, what a huge step. And that really is what There's Something About Susan, that documentary kind of takes you on this journey of her preparing for this world tour and, what happens afterwards. It was really amazing to see. And I 100% recommend it to anybody who wants to learn more about her and the struggles that she went through and just how she going, kept going. Because for her, her singing, that's what makes people happy. And my voice is to entertain people and to bring them into my world. And even when she was struggling, she wouldn't give up. She wouldn't cancel recording sessions or practice sessions because she said, "This is my job. This is what I need to do. And if if I quit or if I don't practice, I'm letting the people down." And that was her biggest fear, was letting the audience down. And so she does these practice smaller concerts, and then she finally does an enormous concert in Inverness, and it's the first leg of her world tour. And then she comes to the US and she does it all over again and just smashes it. Smashes it, guys. This woman went on BGT and said, "I want to be as big as Elaine Page." And you know what? She became bigger. And she got to sing with Elaine Page. She got to sing for the Queen of England. She got to sing for the Pope. And as an Irish Catholic, she said that just one of the most touching personal moments of her life. She actually got an audience with the Pope and got to meet him. But being able to sing with the Pope, I mean, just and she admits she had such a crush on Piers Morgan, which all the more crow for him to eat for his initial reaction. And he does, and he states it multiple times, and good for him because she deserved the apologies. But she got to interview with him. And she also had a huge, huge crush on Donny Osmond. And she eventually got to sing with him too. I mean, all these childhood dreams just absolutely coming true. Hey, for one, Joe Della, hey, how you doing? 2, happy belated birthday to you. And 3, the heart wants what the heart wants, right? I guess, we won't say more. But so some of the issues with Asperger's is they have a tough time with emotional processing. They get a lot of feelings stuck inside and they don't really know where to go with. And I think this is why you often see with people with autism who flock to music, or music therapy can be very beneficial for them because it gives them an outlet for those emotions and somewhere for them to go. And there was also an understanding of how in social situations she was often more uncomfortable speaking to people. She didn't necessarily pick up on social cues that some of us maybe learn naturally. Um, and so that's why some people would say, well, it's just awkward talking to her, or it was just, she was that strange kid, right? Because she didn't have that sort of um, natural social interaction that people without issues, seem to pick up on. And I feel a kinship for this because there's a lot of people, a lot of trauma survivors, especially childhood trauma survivors, who, because of the trauma, it really breaks our connection to other people socially. And I know for me, for between my trauma, moving all the time, and the harsh home environment that I had, I really didn't connect with people, and I didn't understand them as well, and so I feel for her in that regard. But this woman now in 2026, she is not married. All right. I'm just going to take that off the table right now because there are pictures on the internet and there's a whole host of things that post all over the place that she got married. She is not married. She says it's really too late in life. She's 65, 66 now. Kind of too late in life for her. She says she's way too busy with her singing anyway. And if she was to meet someone, it would be the natural way, no Tinder for her, which I think is just absolutely awesome. But she is feisty and she does have this sense of humor. And if you listen to any of the interviews with her, she is a little bit of a tiger inside, right? And it, for some people it may seem like it comes across awkwardly. For me, before I even knew anything more about her, just as I was starting to watch these videos, I just thought, this is a fun person. Like, she kind of just says what she thinks, and it is what it is. And I just thought, oh, man, she'd just be a riot to be around. But to date, in 2026, this woman now has 7 studio albums that she has put out. She has won so many awards, I couldn't even list them. She sang with, like I said, Donny Osborne, Elaine Page, Barbara Streisand. I mean, she now has the confidence and the ability to speak with people um, at longer stretches of time and feel comfortable with that. And part of what that has allowed her to do is have more of these fan interactions or luncheons that they'll have where it's, before a performance, you have a luncheon or a dinner or something like that, and you get to meet the performer, and there's, it's a smaller, 20 to 50 people type of thing. And for her to really meet these people, and she said that was one of the things that meant so much to her is when she actually met fans who told her what it meant that she had this moment on BGT and really showed the world that it doesn't matter what you look like. I'm getting emotional just thinking about these interviews that I saw. I mean, these people came up to her and just said, "You absolutely changed my life. If you can do this, so can I." And it was just so wonderful to see the awe and wonder on her face. The realization of how much she was touching people and what her gift was doing for others. And I've been thinking about this a lot this past week since I realized it was Sassy Saturday and doing the Alexander case wasn't going to be such a great idea. I've been thinking about her a lot. And when I have difficult moments, I've almost been going back to, you know what, Susan did it. She did it. She puts the work in. She knows how important it is to do the work and to not let down her fans. And, you know, personally, I feel that same way with my job and the survivors that I work with. And you guys know it hasn't been all, you know, rainbows and unicorns. There are some very frustrated people out there, and I get it. I totally get it. But through it, to be that person, if they need that person, if they need me to just listen to their story, I can do that. If they need to yell at me, I'll be there with a word once you're done. Hey Patty, how you doing? It's good to see you. Really think that there are so many lessons that we can learn or that we can take away from Susan Boyle and people like her. And I wish I could pull it up. You know what? I'm going to see if I can actually pull up this one audition. Okay, hang on. I'll get a block if I play this whole thing. So before I go there, Patty says, I remember hearing her voice and watching the judges' faces. It was priceless. It absolutely was, Patty. I played that little snippet from, because like I said, I didn't want to get a book, from her first audition earlier. And it was just, I mean, I could watch it over and over and over again to see that dawning realization on their faces. And literally, it took 2 seconds of her opening her mouth before everybody realized how amazing she was. Let me play just a little bit of this. I'll play just a little bit of this from the beginning. I'll skip to the middle to where she sings, and then I'm going to skip to the end. On this person.
My name's Jane. When I sing, I go by Nightbird.
Oh, that's nice.
Nightbird?
That's right.
Did you sing? Do you sing for a living?
Not recently.
Where are you from?
I'm from Zanesville, Ohio.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 30.
30 years old. And the dream is to be a singer. What are you going to be singing for us tonight?
I'm singing an original song called It's Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It is. It's okay.
It's okay.
What is It's okay about?
It's Okay is the story of the last year of my life.
All right. And who you here with?
I'm here by myself.
It's okay. And what do you do for a living?
I have not been working for quite a few years. I've been dealing with cancer.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Let's pause right there. So Jane, who goes by Nightbird, again, another absolutely incredible, amazing singer, sang her own song as original. I'm just gonna play just a little bit from it, a few more seconds. I'm not sure if they collectively count how many seconds I've played from these clips or not, or how it goes. But then I just want to see if I can find just what she says at the end of her song.
And it's alright. Oh, it's alright to be lost sometimes.
Wow.
Just absolutely blown away.
It's funny because singers come on and I think about authenticity. When you feel it, when it moves you, that felt like the most authentic thing I have heard this season.
That was surprisingly beautiful. It was powerful, it was heartfelt, and I think you're amazing.
You gave me chills. I mean, your voice is so beautiful to listen to. It was beautiful all the way around.
Your voice is stunning.
It is.
Absolutely stunning. And I totally agree with what Howie said, about authenticity. There was something about that song after the way you just almost casually told us what you're going through. And,
you can't wait until life isn't hard anymore before you decide to be happy.
You can't wait until life isn't hard anymore, until you decide to be happy. This is a woman who was going through cancer, multiple parts of her body. And she unfortunately lost that fight. But what a incredible spirit. And I see so much resilience in people who have gone through something that is life-threatening, that brings their mortality to bear full force. And I think you either give up or you decide today is a gift. I am living. And I wish I could play it because you can't really appreciate the tribute unless you play it in full. And maybe I'll link it in the description. But there was an African choir that did a tribute to Nightbird and did her song. And it was so moving. These people were from such an incredibly poor area. And as they said, that song, when they saw her audition, it just spoke to them. And they did their own arrangement of it. And then they said that they would sing it whenever things got tough, which was every day for them. But when they needed that reminder, they needed that message, they would sing her song. And so, as a bonus, lesson that we can all take from Nightbird, today is a gift. No matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it may seem, you are still here. You are a survivor of whatever it is that you've experienced in life. And our lessons from Susan Boyle, it's never too late to do what you want to do in life. Maybe you'll never make it as big as what has happened, to Susan Boyle, but you never know. And it's never going to happen unless you try. So pursue your passions. Do something with what you love, even if it's only for yourself. Not all of us have to have inspirations of, being a superstar. Think about my job ending and it makes me sad because I've never been happier working with the law than when I'm working with survivors. And that's why it's been so important to me to still stay with this channel and to bring messages to you guys that there's hope. You can heal and you can live a good life. But it is about the choices that we make, responsibility that we take, how hard we want to work at it. And that's really difficult for some of us, especially if you have, trauma paralysis and get severe depression. And often those two go hand in hand. And digging ourselves out of that. That's why I always say, celebrate the little wins. It may seem little to somebody else, but just getting that shower in today may be monumentous for you, and that's okay. It's a step in the right direction. I can honestly say one of the worst periods of my life was about 3 years ago. And I couldn't keep my house clean to save my soul. And it was embarrassing. Because I felt like here are just the basics that I should be doing. And I couldn't walk in my kitchen without there just being a mountain of dishes to do. And every time I walked by it, that mountain just got bigger. And I thought to myself, one day I am going to have a clean kitchen. Day after day after day. So I can honestly say, whatever it is else that I'm dealing with, that I'm going through, that has gone to pot at the house, I have an empty sink. My dishes are all done. And that's not just because I live alone now. Because my son only moved out in January. This is before then. But for the last about 2 years, that was such an amazing feeling to me. When I walked down the stairs and realized that I had kept my sink clean, or at least had a manageable, what I felt was a manageable amount of dishes there that I could then do again for an entire week. So it doesn't matter how small. Take those victories. And those victories allow you to dream bigger. And when you accomplish that, you get to dream bigger, or you get to dream different. We all have it in us. Sometimes it's just really hard. And I get that and I understand that. So these are the lessons that I want to leave you with today. Lessons from Susan Boyle. A message from Nightbird. And from me to you, you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are loved just the way you are, for who you are. Hi, Grateful. Oh, I just saw you came in. Thank you. So glad you dropped by. So that will be it for me today. Next Saturday is Laugh Saturday. If you guys have any ideas about a particular subject that you think would be funny to go over, or a genre, or you've got clips or anything that you want to send in, surviving together, sass@gmail.com. If you just want to throw something out there for a show idea, email me. If you just feel you need to talk, you need to get something off your chest, happy to hear from you. I love getting emails from you guys. So with that, I'm going to say I will see you next Saturday for Laugh Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Hugs and love from me. You guys have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy.
Through the fire, through the rain, we have walked through endless pain, but we stand, we rise again, stronger now, we break the chain, surviving together, hearts open wide, lifting each other through every tide. The past may have shaped us, but it won't define. Together we heal, together we shine. Every tear, every scar tells the story of who we are. Not just survivors, but warriors too. With love as our armor, we see this through. We see you, we hear you, and we believe in you. Surviving together, hearts open wide, lifting each other through every tide. The past may have shaped us, but it won't define. Together we heal, together we shine. We see you, we hear